Hey guys,
Hey Phil, how you been, man?
good, good.
Good. We got John on the phone, we got Dennis on video, and we got me. And then I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the scene originally, and then stop motion in general, and all of that fun stuff. I'll ask just each of you, what's your favorite out of the chess monsters?
My favorite is the green guy that picks up the little yellow guy. So when I was a teenager, I made the green guy, and that's kind of what gave George the idea to do the stop motion. And then John made the little yellow guy, and he animated the main characters, and I animated all the guys that were working.
And I don't know if I have a favorite, having sort of, except for the one that Phil made years before,
Yeah.
seeing them all kind of for the first time. I just see them as sort of as a group, they're all pretty loony and funny and, and cute and
Wild.
special.
John?
I'll go with I'll make it unanimous. I think the green guy, that was always terrific. And I remember when Phil had it at the shop where we were doing the Cantina masks, and seeing it before that. But and I remember, I think that's one of the things that when Gary and George came by the shop to check out progress on the Cantina pieces, he noticed that and it incorporated it for the chess game sequence very, very understandably. It's really, I think that was a great little piece.
It wasn't that big a deal to convince George, they were the ones to do it. I remember him holding one of them up and looking at it and saying, "That's great. You could sell these." Whoa, I had never, ever thought of that.
In this sort of, you guys were operating in a pre-digital age. How challenging was the alignment on these shots?
I thought it was a piece of cake. There was nothing hard about it at all. To go back to something that I think is true of all of us, the fact that we didn't have access to these imagery after we'd see it in the theater, we forced ourselves to learn to keep images in our head. And that allows you to sort of rethink it. And then after a while, you can recalibrate and imagine a scene shot from a different angle, how important things need to be. And you find out what's important and what isn't important to move it and moving ahead on something. That's this sequence. There's no real critical thing going on as far as contact with the characters on the ground. We had a plan layout from England of what the chess set looked like. So we knew the sort of the size they were supposed to be, but we could make them a little bigger or smaller. Nobody would know. So it wasn't that big a deal. Nowadays, people would go in and they'd have they'd be computering everything, scanning it all, know exactly this to that. But, those of us who were lucky or whatever, or unlucky enough to have to do it, to figure it out for ourselves, you can sort of figure it out in your head before you even go. So I don't remember a lot of critical stuff. If we were, it was only because I didn't want to make a mistake. But there's not much of a mistake to be made in that stuff. And, it's a hologram, right? It doesn't want to be perfect.
Thanks again, man. We really appreciate you being part of this.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Now that we got rid of him, we can tell the truth, John.
Excellent.
You start shoveling first, Phil.
Is there something that happens to someone who's intentionally behind the camera or under the set that, I don't know, makes them gives them a little more humility maybe than the people who want to be shining stars out in front of the camera?
This is what we dreamed to do. And, the dreams came true. And we all knew at the time that we were so lucky, that we were really appreciative we were basically left alone to do our thing, and, if you go up to George and ask him what he thought, the Kanban or whatever should do, he goes like, I don't know, you guys do that stuff. I don't do it. I just direct the movie. And when John and I, we had no time to make the chess set. And it was just in a matter of, like, I think a couple of weeks, we had to bang out these creatures. And we had a cardboard box, and we brought them in and put them on the set in the cardboard box, and asked George what he wanted. He goes like, I don't know. maybe this little yellow guy pops in and the green guy picks him up and throws him on the ground and everybody else is watching. It's like, okay, so we did that. And I think we shot, tell me if I'm wrong, John, but I think we shot over 2 or 3 nights. Dennis did the main setups. Kim Ralston assisted him. And I recall that on the last night, I mean, this was right at the end of the schedule, the very end. And we were behind Black Flats, and ILM was having its rap party. So everybody else was hooting it up and drinking and carrying on. And then we were trying to concentrate on doing this stuff.
Yeah, and you're handling what, 6 characters there at the same time while they were all hooting?
Yeah, but no one was looking at them. You know, they were just looking at the main action, and so I just did my best. And strangely enough, when you have a lot of things to do, it just takes more time. It's really not that hard. You know, you just remember what everything is doing somehow. I don't know. I mean, I've never had dummy sheets or, you know, anything like that. It was just like, well, you just start and see what happens.
One of the things I remember on that, it because of the pressure of the schedule, and Phil's memory matches mine. And I seem to recall we went in the afternoon because that was the crew with Ken and Dennis. And the last day on the thing, we'd start in the afternoon, and the last day was an extended effort to get it done. And it seems to me we wound up leaving ILM to go home at dawn.
Yeah, but there were so many of those days, you know. When we were laying out when George was choosing, you know, where everything should be relative to I think Dennis and Ken made some white cardboard strips that roughly approximated the zones that the characters would go in, because there was no logic to the game at all. And so George, you know, composed where the characters should be, and we had made 10 characters, and so George started placing them, and then there just wasn't room for 2 of the characters, and so those got cut from the movie, and it was kind of an appreciation for you know, Dennis turning George on to us. I made one, John made one. I made the red guy, he made the green guy, and we gave him to Dennis for you know, a thank you gift. And Dennis held on to them, and then when Ron Howard was doing the version of Star Wars that happened before Star Wars, we pitched to him the idea of bringing those characters back in, and he went for it. And then also what we had noticed was one of the actors had hit a button at the perfect time where these characters could disappear, and knocked a part off the set that you could see go boing, and we put a little sparks in, and the characters went boogie.
And that's
why they were in Star Wars.
It was a beautiful Easter egg. I love those 2 little characters too. They are equally. I feel like John's is kind of cute and yours is kind of scary. But,
yeah, that's the way it kind of worked.
Oh yeah. Is that a design sensibility for you guys, John? Do you think you steer towards a different sensibility maybe than some of Phil's designs?
I think maybe I think all of them. This phrase would apply to all of them, but I think the whimsy. I think they're all kind of twisted whimsy. I think I just because I'm so steeped in a lot of the Warner Brothers sensibility, the Chuck Jones and Tex Avery stuff, that just comes out whatever I seem to try to do. I don't know if I could do scary, not like Phil. That's the best answer I got for you. It's unintentional. It's the subconscious coming through physiology to wind up with rubber or clay or whatever we're working with.
Unintentional twisted whimsy. I like it. Phil, so Jon just accused you of being scary. How do you feel about that?
Well, you do whatever is called for, and then those particular characters were, they certainly filled that description. But I was always more kind of drawn to the horrific kind of thing. Kind of like, by the way, you did a great job on the Rancor back there.
Oh, thank you so much.
But I always had an issue with George, and one of his problems with the Rancor that we have to kind of solve is the faces were never super clear, and he always wanted them to be very clear. And I did a design for Howard the Duck of the creature that was a lot more Lovecraftian and a lot more bug-like. And George always wanted to, because I was looking for, I found the horror in those things to be a certain level of abstraction where you couldn't really grab onto it. And that makes the characters is like, I've never seen anything like that before.
And it's scarier, I think, if you don't have human characteristics to lock onto. You now have to not just say, I'm afraid of this, but what is this?
No, I think you see monster before you recognize its attributes. It's just like, it's like looking at a bear. You're not thinking bear, you're thinking,
Your description makes me think of that scene in Alien where that the Sigourney Weaver character is in this chamber, and the strobe lights are going off, and you get a shot of the alien, and it's just all these coils and creepy things, and your mind just kind of goes nuts. I think Phil captures a lot of that stuff wonderfully, that abstraction.
Yeah, that's a really good example and inspiration for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. So Phil, you talked a little bit about revisiting the Star Wars chess scene for the new Star Wars movies. What was that like? How does that's a very involved process, and I've seen you guys put together a video on that that was pretty great. But can you kind of just talk folks through a little bit of that process, how you not just brought these back, because they could have done it just CG and not even included you guys, but for them to go to you and for you to go to the original stuff at the archives, like what's that process like? How much work went into just bringing this little group of monsters back?
It was a big deal. We had kind of had to, it was kind of like an archaeological or paleontological reconstruction, because Jon and I had given the chess set figures to George in appreciation, and over the years they had crumbled, and some of them had been given away to Peter Jackson, and some of them had just disappeared and had to be completely reconstructed. And so that was a huge deal of taking pictures of what we could, scanning them, getting them into the computer, doing the archaeological refabrication, getting those things 3D printed and molds made and blah blah blah. The materials were completely different. We used a lot of those characters were just either pure Sculpey or upholstery foam, and then the green guy was foam latex, and so that was the materials totally changed to like all silicone, which is much more resilient and resistant, and then we had a professional armature maker make really the armatures that was in the Green guy I made like when I was 17 years old. It was really crappy, and then we got to do that, and then we got together. Dennis came in to give some of his guidance on the lighting, and then Jon came, and it was kind of a way like, I don't know, it kind of sounds preposterous, but like the old gunslingers or the old knights kind of handing over their 6-shooters or their swords to the young guys because we didn't want to do it anymore. We've done it. You know, we killed enough bad guys. So, you know, now it was their turn, you know, and that was actually very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you say, I love the word archaeological because that's sort of how we felt, even just going from the digital you gave us to work on this edition here. You know, we even went back. So there were those 2 that were kind of lost that you guys recreated. And we went back to those, the scrapbook photos that you gave us and some of the other pictures that you had found and started to find little things on those. And we really got, you know, into the nitty gritty on like, this guy's antenna should be here and that sort of stuff. And it's like something to sink your teeth into, to try and recreate something as perfectly as you can and still have it have some character and some fun and some pose and some action. And
yeah, you did a great job. I mean, those are as accurate replicas as you're ever going to get. I mean, if you put them side by side with the real guys, I would, you know, ask me to pick which one. I couldn't tell you unless I touched it. Yeah, but
thank you very, very much. And honestly, a lot of that is down to you and all the assistance you gave us along the way. And I'm really glad the 3 of you, you know, came together to sign the plaques and stuff too. You know, we get a lot of feedback from fans that they like that kind of thing. They enjoy having, you know, so I like giving credit to the creators of this stuff. You know, a lot of people want actors' names on things like that, and that's cool. But I love having the people that made stuff a part of us remaking the stuff and like trying to give people something special that maybe shines a little spotlight here and there on the guys behind the scenes who mean so much to me. I was going to say meant, but still do because you're all still here, thankfully. So Dennis mentioned something before. He said that George at some point picked up one of the characters and said, people would want to buy this. We're now about to find out if that's true. How does it feel to know that, you know, people are excited to bring these little guys into their homes?
Go for it, John, because I'll probably just see, yeah, what John said.
John?
I think it goes back to, well, unintended consequences. I never thought that anybody, I always wished we'd had more time to do what we did with what we had. And that the thing has lived so long and people have kind of embraced it, is really, really stunning to me. And I hope, by the way, in that context, I have to agree with Phil. I've mentioned this to you before, but the videos and the stills you've sent me, based on Phil's renditions, the files on these original things, which were literally thrown together, and your fidelity, your whole crew's wonderful reproduction of this, including changes in poses and things, which is really terrific. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how else to put the idea that I would ever do or participate in anything on such a scale. I was thrilled to be able to participate in them, but I never ever envisioned anything like having this conversation that we've enjoyed here for the last hour or so. It's a stunning experience, and I'm really grateful and amazed.
I can't thank you enough for being a part of, you know, both the chess set edition that we're doing for folks and this chat here. I just had an absolute blast as always. So thank you both for everything you've done and for being a part of this.
Well, thank you for doing this stuff, doing such a great job. You know, it's great.
Before I close off, I just wanted to thank you, as Phil did. Ever since I first got acquainted with you, it was really clear to me and you really feel this. It's like a tuning fork when you have a harmonic resonance with somebody. And from the first time I met you, all the wonderful people in all the different studios I've worked with, and the camaraderie. The first time I ever met a bunch of people that had the same sensibility, had really kind hearts. I want to pay tribute to Jim Danforth and Tom Sandoval. They're integral, powerful and wonderful people in my life. And you resonate with all of that. And I'm very grateful to have you for a friend. And I'm so proud of what you've done for the chess pieces. They're magnificent. Thank you.
Thank
I hope they're a huge success.
I do too, and I'm honored to have you as a friend as well. And I know that my wife sends her best. She actually joked when I told her how long the talk would be. She's like, "But it's going to be you and Jon, so add 3 hours."
Oh dear, she knows me too well. I know she knows you really well.
Exactly. Well,
give her my very best, will you?
Again, big thanks to you both. I really, really appreciate all the time you give me. And Phil, thanks again for the digital help on this. All of just every time I asked you questions and all the memories and thoughts helping us get this right. You guys, really helped me make this what it could be. And I'm so excited for people to, be able to finally see them and see what we've been working on for so long.
My pleasure.
All righty. Have a great day, Phil. Thanks so much. Jon, I'm sure we'll talk soon. Thank you again.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Everybody have a good day.
Hey, Jon, are you on the phone?
No, but I got it in my hand.
All right, goodbye.